Since we have such a short period to discuss the etudes, and there's a lot of information I provided in here, I don't think we need to go through a play-by-play of everything, but you'll notice if you turn to etude number 1 towards the beginning of the packet. Any pianists in the group, raise your hand. Okay. I went ahead and, especially for people that are non-pianists and wanted more guidance in terms of fingering, realized all the fingerings for both the right and left hand throughout this etude. There's one correction I would make, which would be in the third bar. When you're walking up to that E-flat minor chord, I made you thumb 2, 3, 4, 5. Makes it a little bit easier there, so maybe just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one important fingering in here. When you look in the fourth measure, the way it was originally written is the right hand needs to play this turn and then leap down to play a so what voicing. It's really hard to do that at 168 without hearing a break in there. And so what I did is I divvied up the chord and gave one of those notes to the left hand. So you notice in the left hand, with the pickups into measure 4 is playing an E-flat sus voicing, and then it's going to go up a whole step. So that's very feasible to grab that with the left hand. What that enables our right hand to do is to walk up, play that figure without any break in there. So make a little bit, to me that's a little bit easier right there. See, other fingerings in here I think is pretty straightforward. If you'll turn to the second page towards the end of the etude, I put some quick tips on here. I think one of the key elements of the first etude is time and rhythm. So making sure that your students feel like they have a really strong swing concept. And so even when I'm practicing, I'm counting and subdividing a triple subdivision, which the Eastman School of Music, the way they do that is 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly. And in my big band, I'll have students use that subdivision. I'll have them count out loud with that subdivision and then clap rhythms. Can we try that a little bit together? Let's turn to the first page. So let's just clap the first 2 bars, but with the triple subdivision. So we're only clapping on the first and third part of each 3-note grouping. So it'll be like this. 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, 1 lolly. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, 1 lolly. Okay? And then I may have them play that 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3 lolly, 4 lolly, 1 lolly. And then maybe try without. Make sure that they're really subdividing that smooth, even triple subdivision so they get a nice swing feel. The other thing I did in this is I realized some articulation markings that weren't mentioned in there. I'll go through a few of these. Beginning, I would accent the end of 4. And then this would be marcato. And then marcato again. So typically, an easy way of helping your students to over-accent is to tell them to accent at the top of the lines where the melodic line is changing direction. So where you see kind of like mountain peaks in the melodic line, there's probably going to be an accent there. I was just listening and transcribing some Sonny Stitt not too long ago, and it always amazes me how strongly those guys play, how they over-articulate an accent. So I'm working on that in my playing, and I'm trying to get my students to really articulate. Let's maybe go on to, there's some other tips there, working in small phrases, 4 and 8 bar phrases, slowly from quarter note equals 60 all the way up to the gold tempo, which I think for this is 168. Probably more than half my practice is slow. And I try to get my students to realize just getting a beautiful sound, playing with flawless technique. They don't want to do that, but it's really going to help their technique. And that's also a tip that I've heard great musicians talk about, such as Itzhak Perlman.